Hey, everyone. Hi.
Hello. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Look
Welcome
who we
to
have
the week.
here.
Special guest kicks off our
Ashley.
brand new.
That's who we have here.
It's Gordon Robertson.
Gordon
You know
Robertson.
his face. He's
When you
kicking
can
off.
be with the social sisters,
I mean,
We
it's,
love spending time.
Does it get any better than
it
that?
doesn't. I tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's kicking off a really special week. It is our second week of January
Yes.
Telethon.
Yes, it is.
And we wanted Gordon to be here with us and get a chance to talk to you guys too, just how Telethon's going, the importance of giving. We're going to talk about this awesome new DVD that Pat and Scott Ross have put together, The Power of Answered Prayer, which I'm sure we can all gain something for this from this. But yeah, welcome. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
great
You
to
are
be
our
here.
first guest
Yeah.
this week, and we are so
That's
excited
because
to
it's
hear.
Monday.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
but
First day of the week, you know?
Don't make
Yes.
a big deal out of that.
We
It's
saved
just
the
because it's
first
Monday.
for-
I'll be your second guest on Tuesday.
That's
Yep.
right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
please, guys.
And then you're going to
stay-
kick me to the curb. You got better people.
No, but we want you to hear from also Operation
Yeah.
Blessing, Orphans Promise. We have Superbook on
That's right.
Thursday.
Yeah.
And then again, we
John
get to
Schaefer with
wrap up-
Superbook.
Yeah,
Yes.
John.
Yeah.
You all know John
Superstar,
Schaefer.
come
Yes.
on.
Yes. So if you
No,
are,
he's really social.
yes,
Oh, yeah,
yes,
totally.
we love when we get to have conversations with John too.
Yeah, definitely. Totally. Okay, so Gordon.
Here we are on Monday.
That's
Yes.
right.
With
First
me.
day.
The first
Kicking it
day,
off.
week again.
Exactly.
Let's
So-
establish that
Wishing
again.
that John Schaefer were here, but
He'll be here on
Thursday.
so you
Yes.
got to wait.
Mark the
Yeah, exactly.
calendars. Today you have
4
we have
days on
Gordon.
social media is like forever.
That's
True.
true. But it's okay. Just keep coming back, guys. Just keep coming back to the
All week
700
long.
Club Facebook page. We're going to have a Facebook Live every day.
Yes.
Talking about telethon, giving, all that good stuff.
Don't go anywhere.
Exactly.
And while you're at it, just go right up to the top of our page,
Mm-hmm.
click the drop down button, and hit follow, and you won't miss a thing.
That's
You'll
right.
get alerted every Facebook Live.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
do that. Do that. today.
Yes,
Now.
please. Okay, Gordon.
Okay.
Yes.
How is telethon going?
Telethon's going great. We
Yeah.
had over 6 million in pledges last week.
Wow.
The January telethon is the
Wow.
telethon that makes the CBN budget for the
Yeah.
fiscal year,
Yeah.
the projections and what we're able to do. So it's a fantastic first week,
Yeah.
and we're looking forward to a great second week.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Incredible. If you're a CBN partner, we want to hear from you. Represent
Yes.
today. Comment below
Comment
now.
below.
And if you're not, you can be today. There's a link right up there. You can get more information. We'll talk a little bit about that. But so we had a great first week. What are you looking forward to? What is our prayer, our goal for this coming week?
Yeah.
Well, one of the best things that happens in telethon, and it's one, yes, do we raise money for CBN? But I think one of the best things that happens is you change people's thoughts about giving.
Yes.
And you
Yeah.
show the biblical principles, what the Bible says about it, how God loves the cheerful giver, how he loves the generous giver.
right.
And then you show the stories of people that have had miraculous transformations because they got that idea.
Exactly.
And they said, that's a really good idea. I may be in desperate circumstance, but when I start giving, God starts giving, give, and it will be given unto you.
Yeah.
And it's principles I learned in the mission field in the Philippines. And it was early on, this thought came to me. Western missions hasn't preached the full gospel. We didn't preach tithing. We didn't preach, it's two main mistakes. One, all my support as a missionary comes from Europe or North America. And this is 200 years of Protestant mission.
Yeah.
And we don't need your support. You don't need to tithe into the work of the Lord. And then the second mistake was, we're the missionaries, you're not. So how empowering it is, and I learned this firsthand with people coming in and giving out of their poverty in the Philippines, and then tracking them over the course of 5 years and seeing God literally open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing.
Yeah.
And the key is, once you start giving, you no longer think you're poor. And how much being poor is a mindset. It's a
Yeah,
thought
that's true.
pattern.
Yeah.
And you think poor because that's what you're taught to think.
Yeah.
When you give, you break all of that.
Yeah.
You completely break it, and you start to realize, I'm a child of God. God has my future. I don't need to be worried about that. He's got my future. he will honor hhis word. He will watch over it. He'll stand over it to watch over it.
Yeah.
And he wants to bless me.
That's right. And you shared a really powerful story. I think it was last Friday, or it was the Friday before telethon, the last all-staff chapel, about the Filipino lady. Can you tell that story? Because it's really impactful.
Yeah, it is.
It really is, just about giving and how she, you tell
Well,
it.
it was a real humbling moment for me.
Yeah.
I'm in the office, and literally I'm praying
And this
for
is
money.
in the Philippines, right?
And
Okay.
in those early years in the Philippines, the first 2 years, we had a lot of trouble making payroll. And so we'd have these great prayer meetings every time payroll was due in order to bring in payroll.
Yeah.
And God was never late. He always showed up on time. And even though we didn't have the money for payroll the day before, that day it would come in, and it would come in miraculous ways. Well, one day a Filipino woman showed up, and she had decided in her mind that it was better for her to take a 5 peso jeepney ride to our office to deliver her cash contribution in hand, because if she were to mail it in, it would cost 7 pesos. And so she wanted that extra 2 pesos to go to the work of the Lord.
Wow.
It was that kind of, and to give you the comparison, 2 pesos at that point in time was 10 cents.
Wow.
So here she was, 2 hours out of her day to take the jeepney ride as opposed to mailing it in.
Yeah.
And she wanted so much for her contribution to be a part of the work of the ministry. And it just absolutely stunned me.
Yeah.
It was one of those, widow's mite moments
Yeah.
where Jesus takes his disciples to look at the temple treasury.
Yeah.
And he's close enough to identify the widow put in 2 copper coins.
Yeah.
He's that close to it. He can actually identify, these are 2 mites, these are 2 small copper coins. He can see it. And God sees your giving.
That's right.
It really underlined it. God saw that woman in the Philippines, and God honored that. It was an amazing moment for everyone on staff, where everything shut down. We all got on our knees, and how unworthy are we compared to what she just did. And for Jesus and his disciples, it's a story that's repeated in the gospel, and we need to pay attention to the repeated stories. Here's Jesus. He's assembling his inner circle, his 12, to say, take a look at this. And he gets so close to it. And then he says, she gave more than all the others. They gave from their abundance. She gave from her lack.
Wow. That
It's
is
a
so
big difference.
powerful. It really is.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
a
that.
beautiful reminder for us all. As Christians, those who are walking with the Lord, how critical do you believe that giving plays a role into our walk with God?
Well, T.L. Osborne told me that he wasn't convinced you were saved until you started giving. That for him, the evidence of transformation is you giving. In the first century church, they would give it all.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, all things in common. I'm all in.
Yeah.
And it just shows very tangibly. We want spiritual experiences to be sort of in the abstract. We want them in our praise and worship, or that aha moment when we're reading the Bible, or a special sermon. We want these kinds of things.
Yeah.
God's very interested in that tangible thing.
Yeah.
Where,
It's true.
okay, are you all in?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
just in this for the aha, or are you really there?
Yeah.
And what defines those moments is, do you view it as your money, or do you view it as God's money?
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
Do you view your life as your life, or is it God's gift to you?
Yeah.
Which way is it?
Yeah.
And that orientation, that mindset, you
Yeah.
can really tell the change when you say, I'm all in.
Yeah, that's good. This is powerful today,
Yes.
guys. Come on.
Yes.
Didn't expect anything less from Gordon.
I know.
All right, but you
Or from you.
or Whitney. I mean, come on. It's a good trio right
Yeah.
here.
yes.
But you've been a part
Whitney's
of.
going to give us parenting tips in just a moment.
Oh, come on. She's an amazing mother. It would be
Absolutely
all great
amazing.
advice.
You need to check out Whitney's Instagram
Yeah,
feed.
yeah.
Oh,
The
yes.
most beautiful children in the whole world.
Seriously. They're adorable, guys. They really are.
I think they're cute too, but I'm biased, so I can't say that.
I'm not biased. They're the most beautiful children in the whole world.
Take it from Gordon, guys.
Except for mine. But, yeah.
Okay, so you've been a part of telethons for how many years now?
Oh, boy. My first telethon was back in the Philippines, 1997.
Okay.
Our first live television. So, boy, it's 20 years.
Wow.
21 years.
Now, what is telethon?
And if you take back to my childhood,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
true.
at age 6, I was answering phones
Oh
at
my
WYAH and on Spratley Street.
Wow.
At 6 years
And
old?
Dad would get mad at me because I couldn't get the numbers right. It was just like, we're having so many calls, we didn't have people, and so
Oh my
okay, you're here. Can you
goodness.
answer the phone? Can
Yeah.
you talk English? Okay.
Wow.
I love that.
It's a family ministry.
Yes.
That is
purely
so cool.
family.
I
Oh.
love that.
Yeah.
Well, what is telethon to you? Like
Yeah.
being a part of it for this long. I mean, literally being in the studio on Spratley Street answering phone calls to now. What is telethon?
Well,
to
in
you?
the early days, every telethon was a miracle. I remember our first contribution that came in for Newport News. We were just astounded that, hey, our television signal crossed the James River. This is, we made it across the river. We're big time.
Yeah.
And the outpouring of miracles, just both financially, but also spiritually, and then telethon was where Dad first had his first word of knowledge.
Wow.
It was an extended prayer time that they had, and God started speaking to him. They had been 2 years in prayer on the daily staff meetings for revival to come to Tidewater, Virginia, and they were praying earnestly for revival. And then, it's sort of you pray for a period of time. And then when God answers, you're kind of astounded. Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
prayer got
it's true.
answered. And, God, don't you understand we're fundraising right now? And God wanted revival. He wanted to answer the prayer. So all these miracles started to happen. A blind man got his sight back.
Wow.
The most astounding one was a phone call. I'm hearing popcorn. I'm hearing popcorn. I'm hearing popcorn. It was a baby who had a club foot, and mother was praying earnestly, praying with Dad on television. And the club foot expanded before her eyes. And she said, it sounds like popcorn.
Wow.
Where
my
it
goodness.
it was a
Wow.
wow.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
Wow.
See, this is why we love talking to you, because we find
Yeah.
out these amazing stories. I mean, there's just
Yeah.
so much.
Telethon
really.
is synonymous with miracles.
Yeah, that
Don't
is-
forget it.
And
And you find out about Whitney's beautiful baby.
All in
True.
one Facebook Live.
Exactly.
All right, so Gordon,
All right.
we all want to know this. Okay, what is it like? So we have our perspective. We get to be in the studio, behind the scenes. We see the people praying and people answering phones, but there are those that are watching on TV and on Facebook that don't really get to see what it's like behind the camera. Can you kind of give us, from your perspective, a little glimpse of what telethon morning looks like in the studio? We just want to know.
telethon morning, day of studio, everyone involved is in prayer and worship.
Wow. Amen.
And there's a half hour of prayer and worship just to set the tone and get our focus on Him.
That's right. Yeah.
Fundraising comes from Him. It's not based on the story. It's not based on the challenge. It's not based on any of that. It's based on Him. And you've got to get your theology right. You give to God. God gives to ministries. Number one reason people give to CBN is they say, God told me to. And so let's get our theology right. And let's get set. Then once we're done with that, it literally turns chaotic. I mean, it's 2 hours of live TV
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
everything's coming
Man.
at you, and you're swapping out stories, and you're doing different things, and you're trying to keep track of numbers and phone calls and challenge amounts, and
Yeah.
so it's a beehive.
Yeah.
It all seems random, but it's actually choreographed.
Yeah. And I tell you, like, walking in that studio, it is, I mean, there are tons of people in
Yep.
there. There are people actually talking to people. That's not fake.
Yep.
They're actually on the phones, taking prayer requests, taking donations, all that
Why
good
would you
stuff.
think that's
true.
fake?
I'm saying if anyone else does. That is
Not-
real, people.
yes.
That is real. And then we have
Yeah.
people
Yep.
behind the scenes praying in worship, like he said.
The
I mean,
entire
it's-
time, people
Exactly.
are praying
Yeah.
throughout the telethon. So
Yeah.
Yeah, when things get really busy in telethon, you can get up to over 400 phone calls. I mean, it just, in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And so, you've got to answer them all. So we have counseling centers here. There's the phone counselors on set, which is roughly 70. Then there's another room in another building at CBN in Virginia Beach. Then we have another counseling center in Nashville, Tennessee. Then we have another one in Manila.
Yep.
To handle the night shift, which for them is daytime.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I know there's
definitely.
so much going on. You just like sit at the desk, like you pull up the chair, and are you just like, okay, God, show off? Like, what is that moment when you're getting ready to go? You prayed up, worships. Like, what is that moment like?
Well, there's
And you're
nothing
ready
else.
to go.
I don't have
Is it like
a comparison.
adrenaline? Does God just like
for
take
me,
over?
it's telethon.
Yeah.
It's something. A lot of life experiences that if you don't go through the experience, you don't know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
it's true.
it's one of those you have to live it to understand it.
Yeah.
And if you're not in that moment, it's back in my teen years, I used to try to surf. It's very similar to surfing. You got to catch that wave,
You used to
and there's
try to surf.
there's nothing quite like it. And that whole balance and
Yeah. True.
staying in the wave, not
Yeah.
behind the wave, not you don't want to be in front of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But God's got it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so another thing that we want to talk about is this little guy right
Yes.
here. Answered prayer, Pat Robertson and Scott Ross. So can you tell our audience just a little bit about this?
This Dad's been in ministry over 55 years, and everything at CBN is built on prayer. Back in the early days, it was every payroll, every camera light, the studios, everything, all built on prayer. And our prayer meetings, Labor Day and New Year's Day, and then the daily prayer of the staff.
Yeah.
So CBN's built on prayer, and these are a condensed version of 55 years of experience.
Yeah.
The prayer that gets an answer, the attitude of prayer. What do you need to correct in your own thinking when you come to pray, and how are you doing that? And do you really understand God and His nature? And so after 55 years, this is the compilation of it.
Yeah.
And it's real deep wisdom.
Yeah. Awesome. So basically we all need this.
Yes. Yes, we
I got
do.
mine in the mail, so I will be watching it, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, anyone who partners with CBN gets this DVD. So if you
Yes.
join today, this will be in the mail on its way to you. And then those who are already partners get the DVD as well.
Yeah.
So
And then another plus
Yeah.
is real life stories of people in
Yeah.
desperate situations, emergency situations, life-threatening situations, and who prayed and got an answer.
yeah.
Which is
definitely.
wonderful because you can relate. There's so
Exactly.
many stories that we see come through CBN, people just like us that have
Exactly.
issues and problems and need miracles that have seen God come through time and time again. So it's incredible.
Yep.
Make sure if you haven't partnered today, click that link, get some information, and ask God. Just ask Him.
Yeah.
Just listen for Him today. And those that you are a part of our CBN family,
Yeah. We love you
comment
guys.
below. Let us
Yeah.
know. We want to hear from you all day today. We'll
Exactly.
be looking out for your questions. Gordon will be back tomorrow.
He'll be
Yes.
back, y'all.
Yes, we're going to talk about
Stay tuned.
In the hot seat.
2018. Yes.
Maybe Whitney will bring her babies.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe not because
my-
they got school.
I bet you those views, people will be like logging on.
I'll go up. Give me a day off. Mom.
That's so awesome. Well, guys, as we said earlier, Gordon will be back here tomorrow
Yeah.
and again on Friday. And then we're going to also talk to people who are part of other CBN ministries,
Yes.
which is Orphans Promise, Operation Blessing, and Superbook. So please don't miss it. But before we go, we also have some amazing stories, just like we were talking about, some answered prayer stories where people have prayed and reached out to God. God answers them in amazing ways, as He usually does. So
Yes, He does.
be empowered by these stories, guys, and we love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Gordon, you're the best. Thank
So
you
are
so
you.
much.
Not as
You're
good as the
awesome.
social system.
All right, bye, guys. God
See you
bless
next
you.
time.
God bless.
Don Faison always wanted she could barely make ends meet.
We didn't have food, so my son was eating ketchup for dinner.
On several occasions, her electricity got cut off.
So we lived by candlelight. Then, of course, my son didn't understand it. He's like, Mommy, I can't turn TV on. I said, I know the lights are broke.
Through the years, this happened over and over. A few times, she was evicted and had to live in a hotel, and even in her car.
It's a lot of embarrassment. I couldn't tell anybody. I yelled at God. But I kind of just threw my hands up and I said, what do you want from me?
Dawn got her answer when she got her electricity back one time and came across the 700 Club. She saw a story about a woman who had chosen to trust God during her financial mess.
I broke down when I watched that because it was like, I can relate to someone. There's someone that's talking about me.
Dawn called CBN and, by faith, gave $22. She gave something else, too.
When they say if you want to give your life to Jesus, just repeat this prayer. And I did.
Soon, she started going to church, where she learned about tithing.
They were talking about, you have to pay your tithe, you have to give 10%. I'm like, I can't afford to give 10%.
So she sporadically gave a little of what she had left each week, whether it was 50 cents or a few dollars. She called it tipping God. By now, she'd become a certified nursing assistant and still wasn't seeing much change in her financial situation.
It was like doors were slamming in my face, and I couldn't understand why.
Finally, one Sunday, she decided to stop giving leftovers to God and give a full 10% instead.
I said, okay, this is the last of my money. This is all I have, but I put it in an envelope.
Soon after that, her job gave her a gift card, a promotion, and a significant raise, all on the same day.
I've never received a raise like that before. I ain't gonna lie, I cried. I cried like a baby.
Dawn has continued to faithfully give off the top of her income. Today, she has a comfortable life and can always pay her bills. She even started a ministry to single women and their children, and recently received an $8,000 donation.
I started emailing the White House, and next thing I know, I was labeled a woman on a mission. I said I wanted to start a transition of housing to where they could reside for 6 months to a year. I just want to be there for someone else because I know the struggle is real. I believe everything that's happening to me now is because I'm given to God. Now I see where my struggles may have been coming from, because when we don't tithe the 10%, you're robbing from Him.
For others going through financial struggles, she says the solution is simple.
Give to God. That's what you need to do. Everything else will fall in place.
Every day, 4 times a day, Jenny Lynn wades through the garbage along this stream to collect water for her family.
I remember seeing disgusting things in the water, but we had no choice.
Since the time she was young, Jenny Lynn has also watched people use the river as a toilet.
I had to take a bath and water got in my mouth. I got sick with a fever and stomach aches.
Jenny Lynn is now married with a baby of her own. She still visits the stream every day to get water and to give her daughter a bath.
It's hard to watch her wade into the dirty water. She might get a disease or infection. I know a neighbor who died because of the contaminated water.
When CBN heard about Jenny Lynn and her baby, we dug a well right next to her home. Now the need of the entire community is met with plenty of clean water for washing, bathing, and drinking.
I'm grateful the water is so close and that it's safe to drink. It feels good to taste the clean water. I'm confident that my daughter will now be safe. Thank you so much.